So I held a poll across social media asking which world event you lot thought needed an update, and honestly, I was convinced the Burning Blade would win. Flameheart returns, his massive flagship rises from the depths, and what do we do with it? We nick his boat, sail to some insignificant islands with goth lighthouses, and spend the next 4 hours looking at bloody stars. The Burning Blade, Flameheart's ultimate weapon, now being reduced to a very aggressive Airbnb. But apparently, the majority of you looked at every world event in Sea of Thieves and collectively went, "Nah mate, Skeleton Fort's in it." The original one, the one we've been doing since 2018. Kill some skeletons, kill some more skeletons, kill a boss, open a vault containing loot that probably costs less than the cannonballs you used getting there. I mean, okay, fair enough, it needs an update, it's very old. But here's the problem. Skeleton Forts have already been updated. Fort of the Damned, Fort of Fortune, Reaper's Forts, and that Yawn Fest and the Devil's Roar. We've basically made every possible flavor of Skeleton Fort. So simply giving the original fort new loot, a new boss, or 12 more health bars isn't really fixing the problem. We need to think bigger. We need mechanics. We need things that give you a reason to stay on the server rather than finishing an event and immediately thinking, well, let's go diving. And this is where my ADHD became everyone's problem. I started with one simple idea and somehow ended up spending 6 hours designing a new treasure item for Sea of Thieves, which could have been done by color shading a PNG, but no, it had to be perfect. And after all of that work, I created this. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. It's the future of Skeleton Forts. It's a lettuce. Oh. But, add some glow VFX and suddenly it's an orb. And I now understand why Rare keeps making orbs. It's actually beginner status modeling in Blender. Anyone can do it, even me. Introducing the Orb of Transformation. Sparkly noises and, impressive VFX and stuff. And woo! It's an orb of... Yeah. And this is where I think Skeleton Forts could become genuinely interesting, because you can't sell this orb. You can't hand it in for gold or reputation. Its value isn't money, its value is power. The power to influence what happens on your server. Those little mini events Rare occasionally adds a mega stash or some ridiculously valuable loot dropped in a world event, and suddenly the entire server starts sailing toward it like seagulls around a chip? Imagine giving players the ability to trigger that. The original Skeleton Fort stays largely the same, maybe a new distinct cloud to make it extra spicy, but completing it gives you the orb, and the orb becomes a key to something bigger. When the next world event appears, the crew holding the orb can sacrifice it to transform that event. The cloud changes, the sky changes, everyone on the server knows something has happened, and suddenly that boring old Skeleton Fort wasn't the destination, it was the beginning. You've now got a reason to stay on the server. You've got something you're protecting. Other crews have a reason to come after you. Maybe you defend it. Maybe someone steals it. Maybe 3 crews spend 3 hours chasing you around the map because you're essentially a floating announcement saying, "Hello, I am carrying the content." That's the difference. We're not just making another Skeleton Fort, we're creating a chain of events that players can influence. And you can take it even further. Tie commendations to participation, not just winning. Cosmetics, weapons, ship sets, whatever. You don't need every crew to walk away with a big pile of loot, you just need everyone to have a reason to show up, because that's where Sea of Thieves is at its best. Crews fighting, temporary alliances, theft, revenge, people getting sunk and immediately coming back for more. Stories happening naturally because the game gave people a reason to interact. The original Skeleton Fort isn't just another piece of content you clear before diving to another server, it's the catalyst. It creates the next encounter. It gives the server something to fight over. It gives you a reason to stay. And most importantly, it makes the world feel alive. You don't need to completely redesign the Skeleton Fort, you just need to give it a purpose beyond kill skeletons, get loot, and then leave. Now obviously, something like this would need some lore behind it, something that actually progresses the story and ties into whatever narrative Sea of Thieves has been quietly developing over the years. So, naturally, I'll be adopting the same level of storytelling we've enjoyed for the last 3 years to explain it. The Sea of the Damned did it. So, there you go, I've just updated Skeleton Forts, created chained world events, updated the story, given players a reason to stay on the server, and made the sandbox considerably more interesting. Rare, I'll send you my invoice. And it was all because of an orb that looked like a lettuce. Or a sprout. Season 21. The Sprout of Secrets. Do a like, do a subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye.